Yes, guys, Jim Rat back in the house with another show review, and this is to the second episode of Miss Marvel. So I've watched it. This one hasn't.
Nah.
And this one has watched a little bit.
Yeah, I'm gonna say like no because it'd be a cheek.
Okay, but when you remember stuff, which is understandable, he was watching it with his daughter, so you know. But yeah, this is a spoiler, so anyone that don't want to be spoiled by it.
I
actually might not want to be spoiled as well. No, go on.
But anyway, innit? So, Miss Marvel episode 2. I have to say, it wasn't bad, but I've got a big gripe as a Muslim, and I think Leon's got the same gripe. So let's get into that first. So there's a scene near the beginning, actually, where they're in a mosque and they're praying. And any Muslim that even doesn't, you don't even have to follow the religion, you know, to a great amount. But any Muslim knows that when you pray, your elbows are off the floor. All of their elbows, it says, there's a hadith that the Prophet Muhammad says, do not pray with your forearms and elbows on the floor like a dog, right? Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what everyone was doing in the mosque.
Yes. So the weird thing is, it was almost like a clear direction of this is how I want everyone to do it. So how nobody there knew that was wrong was a bit iffy.
Because the lead actress who plays Miss Marvel, Imani, is a Muslim.
Yeah.
So why didn't she say anything? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's very, and I'm sure most of that, most of the people in that mosque who are mostly extras were Muslim.
And even if they weren't, one or two would be. And
one or two would be.
This
right.
is wrong.
But then on top of that, Marvel, with all their money, are supposed to do research into this, because remember, they've gone heavily into this Pakistani Muslim family and showing all the nuances of that and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And with all your research money, you didn't know that. Mm-hmm. And it's not very hard to find out. You can do a Google search and find that out. Mm-hmm. So that was very disappointing, I have to say. It was because that's a tenet of the religion. That's not even, after you say your declaration of faith, it's the prayer, and to know how to pray is a big thing. So obviously for non-Muslims, then they might even say, why are you nitpicking on that? But as a Muslim, that is very important. Do you know what I mean? I mean, there's other things I can go into, like the way some of the women were here wearing their hijabs. You know what I mean? Like Nakia and all that.
Is it almost like the equivalent of like in a Catholic church, someone going like this first, then this, then that, then that? As opposed to going there.
No, it's even more serious than that.
Right,
it's even more serious than that. Like literally, the Prophet says, "Do not do that." So that means that your prayer is invalid.
Yeah, because nobody says you got to start there. It doesn't say you have to.
Yeah, but it's known that you.
But it's known that you do.
But this is written in the hadith.
Don't put
do
your
this.
elbows down.
Right. It's
You can't get any clearer.
Yeah, you can't. So I was quite miffed by that. The second thing that I was miffed by, you might have caught it, is when because it's not too far from the beginning, is when she goes to the party and they trick her into drinking alcohol. Now, people could say, oh, but they tricked her, she didn't know. But even before I became a Muslim, I didn't drink alcohol. If someone hands me because this is how the scene went, someone handed her a glass, a cup of something, and she said, does this have alcohol in it? And the person said, no, it's just orange juice. Now, the first thing I'm going to do, even when I'm taking a swig, you can smell alcohol. Do you know what I mean? Alcohol's not hard to especially when you don't drink. It's not hard to smell. But she took a swig, and it was, oh my God, it's alcohol. Like, come on.
But then, taking into account how they portrayed in the first episode, there's a little bit of a naivety to her. So is this a possibility of, I'm trying to impress people? Oh, I believe, cool.
I get that, but again, if you're because a lot of people had misgivings when they said they were going to do this show, and they didn't want things like this to be shown. Do you see what I'm saying? Because then it kind of, and it's like it kind of gives license for every other, so a lot of young Muslims to be like, yeah, that's all right then, do you see what I'm saying? But also, remember, again, in Islam, that's a very big deal, drinking alcohol. It's a very big deal. So I get what you're saying about being naive and whatnot, but then she would also know, being from a Muslim family, that you need to, it's like when we go to, and we do this all the time. When we go to the off license to buy sweets, what's the first thing that we do when we get a packet of sweets?
Yeah, you check if it's
Right.
halal.
Yeah, if it's got gelatine or what. So someone gives you, in a party, someone's giving you a cup of something and telling you it's orange juice. You're gonna check to see if it's got alcohol in it. Do you know what I mean? You're gonna check. You're gonna check. So I've got a little bit of problem with that.
I could tell.
Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the show,
that
aside, the episode, I didn't mind too much. What do you remember of the episode? Okay, never mind.
Bits
So
and bobs,
let
the
me just
party
run through.
and-
Yeah. So let me just run through the episode. So basically, starts off with them going to the mosque. They do their prayers. There's a few girls messing around behind the mosque, and then they start to chat back to the imam. Again, that was a little bit iffy as well. But the imam was like, okay, there's a new council seat available, so if you'd like to run, put your name in. So Kamala gets her friend Nakia to run for it, right? Even though she knows that Kamala's dad's best friend is running as well, and he's most likely to win. So there's that. Now, in the meantime, Kamala is training with her male friend Bruno, who obviously secretly likes her, training with her new powers to find out, he's in all of that. So they're doing that, and he's doing some scientific stuff with an iPad now. But he's like, oh, this power comes from within you. It's just the bracelet allows you to, give it an outlet. And she was like, oh, am I Asgardian? And all that kind of stuff. But anyway, so, so they're doing all their training. Then in school, they meet this new boy who she's like mesmerized by.
Bad guy.
We don't know yet. We don't know yet. He's involved in something, but we're not sure yet. So we meet him. Then they go to the party. One of the friends' parties. Actually, it's the girl that she saved in the first episode.
Right.
Okay.
She's like, oh, I've had a new lease of life, and that's why I'm going to have a party. Right. So she has a party, and that new guy's there, and he's all shy enough, jumping in the pool and whatnot. He's all shirtless and skinny. Anyway. But they seem to like it.
We don't do skinny in the gym.
Yes, we don't. So then he was like, and this is how you know that there's something.
As a teenager.
Something. Well, yeah. Something's going on, because all of a sudden they meet him at the party. Then the cops come, because obviously there's drinking there. You know how strict they are in America about that. So they all go, oh no. So they all run off. He goes, oh, you can all come in my car. And then they're all talking in the car, and then he's like, oh, you can take it for a ride sometime. Like, you just met the girl. What do you mean you can take a car for a ride? You know what I mean? So yeah, there's that. And then she has to train with Bruno, but then she books herself a driving lesson with that other guy. So she fobs Bruno off. So they go to this cafe, and they're chatting, and her brother and his fiance, who I did like, they made her black. Because, there's a problem generally with the Asian Muslim community,
Yes.
Yeah, and there is. Yeah, he's got plenty of experience with that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. So I'm glad that they made her black, because it just shows that, there should be more unity between the Muslim community. But anyway, they see her in the cafe, and they're like, oh, what are you doing with this boy? So she lies and says, oh, he's our cousin. And he can't remember, but then he's like, oh, I think I remember you. You've been looking at haram things on the internet. We used to call you haram.camran or something like that. Like, it's, some nonsense anyway. So let me remember. So let's fast forward, because this is, so anyway, they got this Eid celebration. It's Eid. And they're talking about her great-grandma. And apparently her great-grandma is not well liked in their community for whatever reason. Even her mum, which means that's her grandma, doesn't want to talk about her.
This is where the bracelet came from.
Yeah. It came from the grandma, but Kamala's grandma, which is, her mum's mum. But then the great grandma, they're talking about her during partition and stuff like that.
Right, okay.
So they're talking about that and blah, blah, blah. And then while that's happening, some stupid kid climbs up to the top of the mosque to take selfies out the window, like an idiot. And then he almost falls down to the ground and grabs onto the curtain. So now it's her time to shine. So she goes to save him, innit? So she does these, her powers and whatnot. She saves him, but it's not an easy save because some of the things like dissipate. Some of the light that she puts out there to make him stand on dissipates, like for no reason. She couldn't figure out. But she manages to save him and he falls onto a car and then she gets down and then there's a little sort of like drone that's on her.
Right.
So because they're looking for her, innit, from the first episode. So she tries to get away from this drone, and then there's a whole load of people from this agency we've got her in their sights, but she uses her powers to get away. She then falls over a truck. Cameron, for whatever reason, is there waiting for her in the car. And he goes, get in. She gets in, and then at the back of the car is a woman who, when her powers started to dissipate, this woman appeared all of a sudden with, in the light where all her powers were coming from. Right. And this is the same woman in the back of the car, and she goes, oh, I've been really wanting to meet you. And then it stops there. So we figure that that's the great grandma, but we're not sure yet. And also Cameron says, oh, I'd like you to meet my mum.
Right.
So that's where it ends. So it's a little bit up, we don't know exactly what's going on with this figure. It might be the great grandma. How is she a mum to this boy? Is he adopted or whatever? So it's interesting to see where they go with this. It could be that he's against her and they want the bracelet or whatever.
Okay.
We don't know. So, but from what you saw, what did you?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all right.
Yeah.
It's all right. So I go from watching The Boys and then I see Ms. Marvel. I'm like, it's all right.
Yeah, that's a bit of a come down.
That's what I'm saying. So
I have to say.
What did you think of the first episode? We haven't approached about that yet. Did you like the first episode?
Of Ms. Marvel.
Yeah. It was all right. It was good. Yeah. It was good. I don't know if it's for me. I don't know if it's for me.
I can see that.
I'm just a bit.
The way the second episode went, I felt it was a bit dragged out.
Yeah. Well, from what I fell asleep. Put it that way.
Yeah, I felt.
And even when I'm tired, I don't fall asleep to The Boys. You know what I mean? Because it's cold.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
If that's a marker.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll be watching it to the end. I'll probably just listen to Larry's updates. You know what I mean?
Yeah, leave me to do all the work, you know what I mean?
That's right, bro.
Hey, Joker. Well, you're going to be watching it, son, won't you?
Yeah, I will be getting to it.
Okay. Can't rely on him.
No.
You can on occasion. It works sometimes.
But yeah, guys, listen, that is our review of the second episode of...
Larry's review.
Larry's review.
I guess. Of the second episode of Ms. Marvel. So let us know what you thought of it. And if you think the episodes to come are going to be better. Leave some comments down below, please, yeah?